to the Board Game Network. This is James. I usually have a box here to show you what I'm going to show you on how to play a certain game, but I do not have a box because this is another Kickstarter and it's not even out on the Kickstarter website yet. It's supposed to be there at the end of March, I believe, and it's called Barker's Row. And Barker's Row, you are a carnival barker and you are attempting to fill your stands with rubes. Those people that want to pay money to see oddities and freaks, two-headed dogs, weird things, you know. The goal of the game is to fill your stand, and the winner is going to be the person who fills his stand with rubes first. This is the Strongman's Tower, and it's supposed to stand up, I believe, and then you're going to have a clip here that scores up there, something like that. I've just got some markers like this. And so we can play up to 4 players here. You are going to get dealt, shuffled and dealt 5 attractions. You're going to look at those 5 attractions. And you are going to keep 3 of them. Now, as a general rule at the beginning, you just want a variety of colors here. You do not want to get stuck with the same color. So you're going to discard 2 of them. Those are going to get shuffled back into the deck. Everybody's going to do that and keep 3. You have the attraction deck. You are going to shuffle those, put 3 of those face down out here. You are going to, the first player is going to decide what color. Now you'll notice the backs, you can tell what's on the back, but you do not see the value on the front. And the symbol, the icon back here is going to match the icon right here of the card you're trying to match. So I've got this orange one here, which is beasts. So I know this one will apply to this card. So on your turn, you have a little reference back here. Required, play a card from Barker's Row into the Midway. This is Barker's Row right here. So you can flip one face up and put it into the Midway. This is the Midway here. And then you're immediately going to replace that card. Now for me to play one of these attractions, it's going to cost me this value. So let's just say I'm red. It's going to cost me 4 points in one of these categories to play that attraction. And then it becomes the next player's turn. So required, play a card from Barker's Row to the Midway. Optional, score an attraction. Scoring an attraction is once you get enough cards out here. Here's a wild, so that counts as any group. And you'll notice this wild has a plus sign on it, and the plus sign means that you immediately get to put another card out. So once that one comes out, you can put another one out, and you just keep doing that until you run out of plus signs. And you always want to refill here to 3, and if you run out of deck here, then you just reshuffle, because any cards that you use once you pay for an attraction, those get discarded. So let's throw some more stuff out here. Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and then for either one of those. So on my turn, I would put a card out. And then optionally, I can score an attraction. So I would put the attraction out. Step right up. El Chaluba. Chapukabra. Ladies and gentlemen, right here, step right up. We have, make sure I get the right cards here. I gotta get 4 points because that's where my marker's at, and I move my marker up 1 space. My attraction comes down. My attraction has an ability on it. It says, if all players have an odd number of rubes, take a rube from the crowd. Okay, you need to announce what you're playing, so that you can get rubes in your stands and tell the other players what your ability is. And each one of these gets 2 rubes in your stand. Then you're going to draw another attraction. And all of this is right here. When you score an attraction, you discard used Midway cards, you move the tower marker, you add rubes to your grandstand, and you draw a new attraction. Those are the 4 things you do. It becomes the next player's turn. So when it comes back around to me, and just as a piece of advice, you want to know it gets consistently harder to continue to put attractions out because the cost becomes higher and higher. So you want to be aware of what the ability is on here, and these just can be used on your turn, whatever the ability is here. And oftentimes these help you put another one out. You may be able to take cards from here and put a bunch of them out, or take cards from here and put out, and that would be in addition to your mandatory play of putting a card out. So that will help you pay for the more expensive attractions. Something else you can do is, if you look at your attractions and you do not like them, you can actually move your token up 1 to draw 2 attraction cards, put them in your hand, and discard 2 attractions out of your hand. So that would let you kind of cycle to maybe get a different color, but it makes it harder to fulfill because your token just went up. And if you're at 10, you cannot do that ability. So your optional actions are score an attraction, use an attraction, so that would be whatever is on here, you flip it over, and you can do as many of those as you want. And do whatever the ability says, or dismiss an attraction, which is drawing 2 and then discarding 2. That's dismissing an attraction. So this one, this strong man here, lets me return a rube to the crowd. So if I got rubes up here, I can remove 1 to the crowd and move my marker down 1 space on the Strongman Tower. This one lets me choose and discard any number of 1 cards from the Midway. For each card you discarded in this way, play 2 cards from the Barker's deck into the Midway. So that would be a great one if you're up here higher and you've only got 4 or 5 points out here. You go, okay, there's a bunch of 1s. So once you've got this one out and it's sitting there, you're going to flip that one over, discard 1s out, and put 2 cards from the deck into the Midway for every 1 that you discarded. Great way to get a bunch more points out there. Look at the attractions in another player's hand, take any you want and give them an equal number of attractions from your hand. So there's a wide variety of attractions in here. So here in this game called Barker's Row, you have beasts and freaks, oddities, and horrors to try to get these rubes into your stands, fill up your stands, and that's how you play the game of Barker's Row.